please.
Commissioner Stebbins. Commissioner Stebbins.
Sarah, come on.
I think she's saying
Yeah,
yes.
I'm here. Can you?
Yep. Thank you. Commissioner Hardy.
Present.
Commissioner McCaskill. Commissioner Jordan. Commissioner Key.
Present.
Commissioner Ricks.
Present.
Commissioner Teliga.
Present.
Commissioner Coney.
Present.
Commissioner Blower.
Here.
Okay, that's all with roll call. Commissioner Teliga.
Okay. Kelly, you want to?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. Good evening, commissioners. All boards and commissions must adhere to all laws established under the Michigan compiled laws and in accordance with the revisions of the Open Meetings Act adopted in Senate Bill 1108 as passed on October 13th, 2020 and signed into law on October 16th, 2020. A public announcement shall be made by each member who is attending the meeting remotely that he or she is attending the meeting remotely and except for those in military service, stating her physical location. And Bill, if you would call the roll again, please.
Commissioner Stebbins.
I am here in Flint, Michigan, and I'm attending the meeting remotely.
Commissioner Hardy.
Yes.
Are you attending remotely in Flint, Michigan?
No, I'm on. I'm sorry. I had a distraction there for a minute. I'm on.
So if you would please, Commissioner,
hold on.
just state, if
Go
you
ahead.
would state that you're attending remotely and then the city or county and the state from which you are calling in remotely. This is just part of the record. It's a new requirement under the Open Meetings Act.
Okay, no, I'm live. I'm live on this meeting from Flint, Michigan, Genesee County.
Perfect. Thank you.
Commissioner McCaskill. Commissioner Jordan. Commissioner Key.
I'm attending the meeting remotely, and I am here in Flint, Michigan at my home.
Commissioner Ricks.
I'm attending remotely from Flint, Michigan.
Commissioner Teliga.
Attending remotely from Flint, Michigan.
Commissioner Coney.
I'm attending remotely from Flint, Michigan.
Commissioner Blower.
I am also attending remotely from Flint, Michigan.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Okay, we're going to move on to adoption of the agenda. Do we have any additions, changes to the agenda? Hearing none, can I have a motion to approve the agenda as written?
Make a motion to approve the agenda as written. This is Commissioner Key.
Support?
Commissioner Stebbins supports.
Okay, any other discussion? All those in favor, aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Let's go over the approval of the minutes. Do we have any additions or changes to the minutes?
Mr. Chair, Commissioner Blower, I just noticed that I am listed twice under members present.
Well, I think we probably should change that.
That doesn't
Anything
mean you get
else?
2 votes.
What's that, Jerry?
I told Commissioner Blower, I said, that doesn't mean you get 2 votes.
Anybody else? So do we have a motion to approve it with that one change?
Commissioner Blauer, I make a motion for approval of the minutes as changed.
Does anybody support?
Commissioner Key, I
Commissioner
support.
Hardy, I support that.
All right, all those in favor, aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. All right, we're gonna open up the first public forum. If somebody's here to speak either for or against one of the projects, a member of the public, you can speak now, but you'll have another opportunity to speak as each case is being presented. Do we have anybody on today?
Yes, we do. Commissioner
Anything?
Telga, this is Bill.
Yeah,
Jeff Mason, he's 2248. He's here.
can you speak a little louder, Bill?
Okay, Jeff Mason is representing for the applicant. That's one individual that I'm aware of that's on the line. His last 4 digits of his phone number is 2248.
Okay, well, we'll have him speak when we open the case. I want to be as transparent as possible, just make sure there's nobody here that wants to speak at this time. Well, let's move down to reports in. Any reports? Staff?
There's no reports that I have to discuss at this time.
Any communications?
We had no communications for the
Okay.
applicant.
We're gonna move down to the public hearing. The first case is ZBA 20-2246, Greater Flint Mental Health Facilities Board requests a non-use variance from 50-133B to reduce the on-site parking spaces from 9 by 20 feet to 9 by 18 feet at 1401 South Saginaw. Is the applicant here to present the case, please?
Yes. Would you like me to move forward?
Yep.
Okay, sorry. Hi, my name is Carrie Steele. I'm from Genesee Health System.
Kara, can you speak a little louder?
Sure, sorry. My name is
That's better.
Okay, sorry. I'm from Genesee Health System. I'm going to talk a little bit about our building project, and then I'll hand it over to, I also have here Doug Scott from Rowe, and I have Jeff Mason, who is from our architectural firm. Let me tell you a little bit about what we're doing. We are building our plan is to build a children's building at the corner of 9th and 10th, or 9th and Saginaw Street, between 9th and 10th Street. Currently, there is a Club 69 is, I believe, the only building on that site currently. Our plan is to consolidate. We have our children's programs in 3 different facilities. We plan on consolidating all of our children's services into one facility. It'll be about 60,000 square feet, housing several of our programs, our Autism Center, our Neurodevelopmental Center for Excellence, our Child and Family Services, and our outreach programs. The site the reason we landed on a site in Flint is because 56% of the families that we serve live in a Flint zip code. And also this site is convenient. We service everybody in Genesee County with a behavioral health, mental health, or developmental disability need. And this site is very easy on off from I-69, a major freeway. However, this site does present some challenges, and I'll hand it over to Doug to talk about the request for the variances.
Hey, Doug Scott, Rowe Professional Services Company. And as Carrie mentioned, this site is right on the corner of Saginaw and 10th Street there, everything between 9th and 10th Street. And what we're coming to you tonight, there's actually 17 parcels that are impacted by this project that are in the process of being combined through the city as well. And in order to make this project move forward, what we're really focusing on tonight is several variances that you have before you that are, the first two are really focused on basically being environmentally responsible for the development of the site. The first one is the parking space size reduction. What we're asking for is the current zoning ordinance requires a 9x20 parking space, and we're asking that to be reduced to 9x18 and basically allow us to minimize the amount of pavement that we're putting down so that we can actually create a larger bioswale in the center of the property there. If you've seen the site plan that we're looking at there, basically we're trying to create a sizable bioswale to center that's going to have some permeable pavement and stuff around it to basically try and be as environmentally responsible as we can for stormwater and minimize the stormwater runoff, as well as decrease the potential heat islands and stuff like that from the pavement. So what we're asking for with the 9x18 is to actually reduce the size of the parking spaces to meet actually your proposed zoning ordinance that's will hopefully be adopted by City Council in the future on that. Basically, we're asking for that same size parking space that's allowed by that ordinance.
Is there anybody else? Hey, I dropped off for a second. I don't know what happened, but I lost my signal, so I apologize. Is there anybody else that wants to speak on behalf of the applicant? Does anybody hear me?
Yes.
Thanks, Jeff.
Yeah.
All right.
No, sir. I'm
All right,
good.
I'm going to open the public hearing. Do we have anybody here from the public that would like to speak for or against this? Bill, Casey, do we have anybody?
There's none.
Okay, hearing none, I'm going to close the public hearing. Blower, at this time, why don't we discuss, I know that this applicant has came up in front of planning board.
Matt, I'm not sure if that was on my end or on your end. You were cutting out. I believe you asked for a report from Planning Commission comments.
I think Commissioner Telega just.
Did we lose him?
Yeah.
He's coming back on.
Back on.
Matt, I think you cut out. Were you asking from comments from Planning Commission?
Yes,
All right. As it,
I am. I for some reason, I've been dropped off of this twice today.
I can hear you now.
I'm gonna try and call him.
So, from Planning Commission, the applicant has appeared before us actually twice. In early November, we had a lengthy discussion. They were asking for actually a couple street vacations for this project. After a lengthy discussion with them, there were concerns from city engineering, I believe, and as well as city staff. We had the applicant go back to with the concerns from the city, and they came up with I believe it was a memo of understanding, if I recall, that they came back, all of our concerns were addressed, and they were granted approval for just the vacation, in regards to the traffic flow on November 10th. So when they, or as they go through the process, they're here tonight for the variances, and then they will come back before Planning Commission with a full site plan review, which we have not seen yet. Chairman Telega, is that information that you needed?
You guys hear me?
We can now.
You guys,
Okay, yeah,
hear me?
I'm going to mute this.
okay,
I don't
yeah,
know. It
I'm
keeps freezing
gonna
up and
mute
I've lost
this.
the call twice.
I don't know,
So
it
I'm gonna
keeps
stay on the
freezing up
phone
and I've
with you.
lost the call twice. So I'm gonna stay.
You're muted, Matt. I can't hear you now.
KZ, is Chairman Telega, is he,
I'm working.
is he on two calls or was that one?
Yeah.
So,
So he's on both the Zoom and the phone. Commissioner Telega, if you want to click *6 on your phone to unmute. There.
Okay, I'm back.
Yep, perfect. Okay, we're good to go.
Okay, anybody else? Any discussion?
Are you asking for discussion from us,
Yes.
the commissioners?
Yes, sir. Any questions of the applicant or
Okay.
discussion?
So Commissioner Blower, I'm gonna have a question from the Planning Commission. You said that you guys did grant the request to vacate, is that Simpson Court? I'm looking at the blueprint here we received.
Yes, I believe there were 2, possibly 3 street vacations with it. Doug-
Simpson Court and Beach Street were both
Okay,
both
both.
approved.
Yes.
Okay,
So both,
so
like
those were granted,
those were
those were
granted.
granted by the Planning Commission.
Yep,
Okay.
after it was a postponement, the city engineer had some comments. There were some traffic flow concerns. We had them go back, meet with city staff, work through those concerns, and then come back before us on November 10th. So all the concerns were resolved through city staff. The memo of understanding came before us, and then we granted those vacations, the request. And I believe it was anonymous, or it was unanimous. Sorry about that. Reading and talking at the same time.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody else?
So Matt, in discussing this, I guess I'm a little disjointed here a little bit because we're only talking about ZBA 20-2246.
Yes.
But in discussing all of this, all 3 of them, I have some questions and concerns about different ones. Well, not concerns, questions more than anything else. But are we not to ask those questions till we get to that specific?
I prefer you wait till we introduce the case because they're in 3 separate cases.
Okay, so only thing we're talking about now is the reduction of the parking spaces from 9 by 20 to 9 by 18s.
Correct.
Okay. All right, I'm good. I have no further questions.
Commissioner Telega, did you press mute on your phone by any chance? We can't hear you. I think you might have pressed mute on your phone.
Might have put this on my screen.
There it is.
There, can you hear me now?
Yep. No.
You're muted again, Matt.
I'm sorry, guys.
There's,
Keep your hand off of one of those pieces of equipment, okay?
Sure, yes, sir. I'm gonna hang up on the phone since it looks like I'm solid back.
I just need, you need to unmute on the,
I'm looking for a motion still.
Okay. This is Commissioner Key, and I would like to make a motion that we approve ZBA 20-2246, asking for a reduction in the parking space dimensions from a 9x20 to a 9x18.
Commissioner Blauer, support.
All right, we got a motion made and approved. Is there any other discussion? Hearing none. Staff, let's take a vote.
Commissioner Stebbins, Commissioner Stebbins, I think you're muted.
She appears to be frozen.
I pushed unmute.
Okay.
Can you hear me now?
Yep. Taking a vote, Commissioner Stebbins.
Yeah, I said I approve.
Yep. Commissioner Hardy,
I approve.
Commissioner McCaskill, Commissioner Jordan, Commissioner Key,
I approve.
Commissioner Ricks,
Yes.
Commissioner Telga,
Yes.
Commissioner Coney,
Yes.
Commissioner Blauer.
Yes.
What's my tally, Bill?
7 yes and two that are absent.
Okay, motion passes. Let's move on to ZBA 20-2247. Greater Flint Mental Health Facilities Board requests a non-use variance from 50-114 or 141B to reduce on-site parking setback variance from required 7-foot parking setback to 1.5 feet at 1410 South Saginaw Street, Flint, Michigan, 48503. Applicant, can you give us any more specifics on this particular one?
Sure. Again, this is Doug Scott from Road Professional Services Company. Basically, what we're asking for here, the ordinance requires a 7-foot setback for parking. And what we're asking is for consideration to allow us to reduce that to 1.5 feet. The reason we're asking for that is, again, so that we can make that bioswale larger. We're essentially taking that 5.5 feet and widening the bioswale. Our site has the unique ability here to drain to the center, and that's what we're trying to do, is put that bioswale in there with pervious pavement around it, so that we can direct all our stormwater to that area and allow it to naturally percolate into the ground and be filtered as that happens, just to try and basically prevent as much stormwater runoff as possible and keeping it on site. And so that's what we're asking, is to take that 5.5 foot and be able to add that to the width of the bioswale on both sides.
And I'll just piggyback on top of that. This is Mark Heber with HED. I'm a landscape architect. Doug and Jeff and I have been working closely with Carrie on this. One of the things that we think is very important is to serve as a demonstration to the community. Urban flooding is a huge problem in Flint, Saginaw, many urban areas, Detroit. And in essence, it's because a lot of water gets sent into the storm sewer immediately. And that happens in each parcel around the city, and then you get flooding downstream. Now, we can't solve the entire urban flooding problem, but what we want to do is demonstrate the way that each development, each parcel can contribute more positively to the way that an urban area handles stormwater by putting in this bioswale detail that Doug has spoken about. Because what that does is it delays the amount of time and volume of water that actually enters the storm sewer or combined sewer. So it does its small part to reduce that urban flooding issue. And GHS wants to be that sort of lantern to shine a light on those kinds of improvements that can be beneficial sustainably for the community.
Excuse me. I'm back. This is my first Zoom call, guys. I know it sounds like it.
Commissioner Telega, I think you might need to call in.
There must be a thick cloud over the city of Flint with all of these technical issues we're having tonight.
So I don't know if it's appropriate, Doug, but I guess it would be. I'm gonna ask this question because I have a couple of questions relative to this topic, okay?
Sure.
This is Commissioner Key speaking. And so I guess the first one is around information for me, but do the reduction in impervious surfaces with this bioswale also help to reduce or minimize the sewage runoff costs that are billed to the facility?
No,
the reason I asked the question is because I had to proofread a bunch of theses from my graduate students while they were working for me, okay? And I remember one of them was on storm runoff and how utility companies calculate what the sewage runoff cost was going to be based on the impervious surfaces on that lot. So that was just information for me. I'm not criticizing
Sure.
you guys.
Sure. Yeah. We're referring to stormwater here, which basically, there wouldn't be any charge from the city for stormwater because that's going to end up going to the river. Now, back in the days of the combined storm and sanitary, there might have been a charge on that, but this is, since everything is going to, the storm sewer is going to the river or the creek on that, there wouldn't be an additional charge from the city. But again, as Mark and I both mentioned, we're trying to reduce the amount of stormwater that makes it to the river and stuff on that, and at the same time trying to improve the quality of the water that does make it to the river by basically putting it through this natural biofilter is what it's going to end up being. So
right. Okay. I mean, it's going to make it to the river regardless, because it's going to make it if it go to the ground. Eventually, it's going to make it to the river.
Correct. Yep.
It doesn't overpower or overwhelm our sewer system, drain system for the city. So
right. And that's what Mark mentioned is that we're slowing down the flash flooding on that. We're going to detain it in this bioswale and slow the rate that it gets to the amount of time that it takes.
Okay. All right. So my second question, though, is relative directly to this, is around the reduction from the required 7 feet parking setback to 1.5 feet. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And when I was looking through the blueprint, I couldn't really tell, is the 7 foot setback from the property line or the sidewalk, or where is that setback from?
The 7 foot setback would be measured from the property line, and so on the drawing that you've seen, it would be from the property line back is what's required by the zoning ordinance, and so we're basically reducing that to 1.5 in certain areas. That's the tightest that we have there. Some places it's 2.5. Some places it basically just worked out with what we have there. But that setback is directly added to that bioswale width there. So,
Yeah.
But Doug, just to clarify, Commissioner Key's question, I think, is the property line coincident with the back of sidewalk? I don't think that it is.
that's correct.
So there is a green dimension between the sidewalk and the parking. And I don't know what that minimum is between back of walk and property line, but I think it's somewhere in the ballpark of 5 feet. So really
Yeah.
the effective dimension is something like 6.5. That's the green space that actually presents itself to anybody that's walking down the street. They would see 6.5 feet of green space, even with this adjustment that we're requesting.
That's correct, Mark. Thanks for that clarification. And I'm looking at the drawing on my screen here too, and Mark's right. It's about 5, maybe 6 foot in there. I think probably it gets down to about 6 foot is about the tightest it does from the sidewalk.
Okay, I mean, that's directly what I was asking about because I was concerned on whether I'm gonna have cars with their front bumpers hanging over the parking space into the sidewalk. Okay.
No,
and then what you guys are telling me is no.
Correct. Yeah, that will not be the case.
Okay, all right.
Anybody else? And board, any other questions of the applicant for discussion? Hearing none, I'll ask for a motion on 2247. You guys hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, I hear you, man.
You're not saying it.
This is Commissioner Key again. And I guess I would make a motion that we approve ZBA 20-2247, in which they're requesting a variance from the required 7 feet parking setback to 1.5 feet.
I second that. Commissioner Ricks.
Thanks, Commissioner. I'm flying blind, so I'm on the phone now. All right.
Hey, don't worry about it, man. I'm your co-chair. I'm taking care of you.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. We've got a motion and we've got support. Do we have any other discussion? All right, I'm gonna ask for the staff for a roll call vote.
Commissioner Stebbins,
I approve.
Commissioner Hardy,
I approve.
Commissioner McCaskill, Commissioner Jordan, Commissioner Key,
I approve.
Commissioner Ricks,
Yes.
Commissioner Telga,
Yeah.
Commissioner Coney,
I approve.
Commissioner Blauer,
Yes.
Commissioner Telga,
Yeah. You got.
Commissioner Telga, this is a point of order. Did we do public forum for this case?
I opened up public forum, but I wasn't able to close it because I got lost from the call.
Right.
So when I came back in, we were in discussion. The applicant was talking.
Casey, are there any
But-
callers on the line outside of the applicants and participants? I'm checking the participant list right now. I don't see any outside callers, Mr. Chair.
Okay.
So
Yeah, there
as
is-
far as the point of order goes, I think that the public forum can be closed.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm going to try one more time to get on here on Zoom, guys. All right, well, the motion carries. Let's move on to ZBA 20-2248, Greater Flint Mental Health Facilities Board requests a non-use variance from 50-139A to reduce required on-site parking spaces from the required 1 parking space per 300 feet of gross floor area to 1 parking space of 400 square feet or 400 feet of gross floor area at 1410 South Saginaw. Applicant?
Yeah, okay. So what we're asking for here, your current ordinance requires one space per 300 square foot of building space. And we're requesting that be reduced to one space per 400 square feet. And reason we're asking that is we've done basically the calculations on what the owner is going to need for parking spaces. And we feel that based on the proposed use and their current makeup of their buildings and stuff, that 150 is about where they need to be. And really what we're looking at is asking you to allow us to go to the 1 per 400 square foot, which is what your soon to be adopted zoning ordinance would take it up to on that. And again, part of that purpose is to reduce the amount of pavement that's, again, if we don't need the parking spaces, it doesn't make sense to create the impervious surface that is going to generate more stormwater runoff. And just basically, we just don't feel that many parking spaces is required for the development that we're proposing here. Again, trying to align with the soon to be adopted zoning ordinance is what we're asking you to do.
And I'll just tag along on top of that again. This is Mark. So this goes again right at the heart of right sizing the amount of pavement, not putting in more pavement than is necessary in order to satisfy the need, which in turn has bearing on stormwater, urban flooding, etc.
I'll just add from an owner's perspective that a good quarter of the programming that is in that building is community outreach and our child and family services, which those staff work out in the community, are primarily out in the community, and we're building space for them to come and land and use the resources as needed. We learned during this COVID time, people are very successful working out of their homes. So we had already planned on having limited space for staff to come in who work primarily out in the community.
Okay, anything else before I open up the public hearing from the applicants? You'll have you'll have an opportunity to respond. I'll open up the public hearing. Do we have anybody on the phone or on the call?
We do not.
Okay, well, I'm going to close the public hearing then. Let's open up a discussion here. Board, any discussion, questions for the applicant? Give them up to respond.
Commissioner Blauer to the applicant. What is the breakdown of the parking spaces? How many proposed parking spaces, and as far as ADA, any loading zone parking spaces? Do you have that available?
Yeah, what we're looking at is there'll be 144 regular spaces, 5 ADA and 1 van ADA, so total of 150.
So there's a total of 150, including the ADA spaces?
Correct. And I guess one thing to point out to you is there'll be 130 on this site right here. And there, because if you go through and count, obviously you're not going to get the 150. And we're in the process of obtaining additional property just south of here to create an auxiliary lot that would have start out with an additional 20 and could be expanded to more than that if we need that. So.
And doing the math, what would the at 1 for 400 feet? What would be the proposed total needed? You say you're.
That would be like 147.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anybody else? Board? Well, hearing nothing else, no other deliberations, entertain a motion on the floor, please.
Mr. Chairman, this is Commissioner Key again. I'd like to ask questions.
Go ahead.
I'm expanding on Commissioner Blauer's question, I guess, to the team. Basically, what you're telling me then is, per your write-up here, is going to one parking space per 400 feet of gross floor area would be sufficient enough to give you the number of spaces you need to meet our new proposed ordinance for the new master plan that we still got in process.
That's correct. The new ordinance would require the
Zoning
1 per 400.
Yeah,
Okay.
zoning ordinance plan.
Right.
Yes.
All right. I mean, that's what I wanted to make sure I was clear on, because basically you asking us to give you a variance that would meet our future, hopefully approved zoning ordinance once it gets to count.
Right. And that was a lot of what we based our request upon, is that, you know, if we came to you a year from now, we wouldn't have to even get a variance. But
yeah. Okay. All right. I'm good.
It's
Okay,
Commissioner Hardy. Commissioner Hardy,
go
I
ahead,
have a
Jack.
question also concerning those parking spaces. According to the your footprint of 400 per gross floor space, which requires 143 spaces, but did you not say that there's only going to be on this site that we're looking at? There's only 130 spaces, and you're going to procure additional property to cover the rest?
that is correct.
I got a question.
You don't have that property right now. You don't have that property.
We are in the process of closing on that property. Carrie, I think that closes like Thursday?
Yeah,
Is that correct?
That's correct. Jeff, am I right on that?
Yes, yes, it's later this week.
Yeah, that's
Thank you.
I'm a little uncomfortable approving something on including a piece of property you don't own right now. Kelly, can we make it contingent on them closing it as part of a motion?
Yes, I think as long as they can present sufficient paperwork, once the close has gone through and finalized, if that could be, if Bill's comfortable reviewing that, I know he has a background in real estate, so I think that could be administratively approved. So the motion could be conditional upon closure on obtaining that property for auxiliary parking.
If I may, Mr. Chairman, this is Jeff Mason with Harley Alice Devereaux, and working with the GHS team to let you know that purchase agreements should be in place at the end of this week. We have recently secured with Genesee Land Bank board approval 11 additional lots adjacent to our existing parcel. So if that helps to clarify some things, sir, by all means, take that into consideration.
A discussion from anybody else on the board, please?
And also, Kelly, tonight our approval is for just the variance. The parking spaces will actually be part of the larger site plan, correct? That comes before Planning Commission.
Right, that is my understanding.
Yes.
So tonight we are only looking at if they could use the one space per 400.
Yes.
We're not actually looking at that number of 147 or 150.
Yeah, that's a great point.
That's a good point. Good point. Anybody else? If we don't have any other discussion, I'll ask for a motion.
I know you don't want to hear from me again, do you?
I'll make a motion, Commissioner Ricks.
There we go. Can you make that motion, Commissioner Ricks?
Yeah, I make a motion to approve the variance 20-2248 by Greater Flint Mental Health to reduce parking spaces to 1 space per 400 square feet of building area in lieu of 1 per 300 square feet based on meeting standards 1, 2, 4, and 5.
Do I have support?
Commissioner Blauer?
Question before we support. Do we need to read it? Do we need to write the contingency in that to that also?
I think we decided that we didn't have to, based on it was only on this property and the 150 was the whole thing. Kelly, you want to reassure John one or the other or correct me?
Yes, and just to clarify further, as Commissioner Blauer pointed out, this is just for approval of the variance. So based on that discussion, I don't think that a conditional motion is necessary. I don't know if that helped at all.
Does that answer your question, John?
Yes, I accept that.
Right. All right, we've got a motion and I'm sorry, do we have, Commissioner Blauer, do you support it?
Yeah, Commissioner Blauer, support.
Okay, any other discussion? Call for a roll call vote, staff.
Commissioner Stebbins,
Approve.
Commissioner Hardy,
I approve.
Commissioner McCaskill, Commissioner Jordan, Commissioner Key,
I approve.
Commissioner Ricks,
Yes.
Commissioner Taliga,
Yes.
Commissioner Coney,
I approve.
Commissioner Blauer,
Yes.
seven yes votes, Commissioner Taliga.
Thank you. The motion carries. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. We appreciate your time.
Best wishes on your project.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a great night.
Thank you. All right, we're going to move down on the agenda to item H, City Attorney Report. And Kelly, is there any updates on the marijuana ordinance or the zoning ordinance?
Yes, I have updates on both. They're not very substantive, but procedurally, we have moved the permanent marijuana ordinance onto council's agenda. It was actually up on the agenda last night, and they recessed halfway through the meeting to this coming Thursday. So it will be on the agenda Thursday of this week. If they don't get to it, then it'll be on the next agenda. So the permanent marijuana ordinance has been put on the agenda. That was a hurdle that we have overcome. So that's some progress there. And the zoning code, or the draft zoning code will be presented to council in January. So right now, I'm meeting with planning staff with Suzanne, Bill, and everybody. We're formatting the ordinance to satisfy the council needs for presentation and doing some comparison charts. So we're getting everything ready to present to council at the end of January.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody got any questions for Kelly? Let's move down to old business. Do we have any old business to discuss?
Mr. Chair, this is Kelly Thompson again. I just
Hi,
wanted to expand upon the marijuana ordinance question. So the current emergency marijuana ordinance that is specific to the recreational licenses, we have put a 7th extension of the emergency ordinance on council's agenda as well. So we're anticipating quite a bit of discussion and deliberation on the permanent ordinance. So in anticipation of that, we have put another extension of the emergency ordinance on their agenda. So the latest extension expires on Christmas Day. So just in anticipation of that, we have another extension in the pipes. So just wanted to expand upon that a bit. Thank you.
Okay. Old business. We have any other old business? Under there, I see we have membership roster. Somebody want to help me? We are updating the membership roster. I have a current one. I don't know if the current one's been posted or not. And where we were with that. Bill?
That Mr. Telga, that has not been posted yet online to my knowledge. KZ, could you confirm that? If you can hear me?
Yes. Did you say the roster information?
Yeah.
Yeah, that
Susan-
is posted online.
Okay, so I guess the commissioners could take and review it and make sure that the information is accurate.
Oh, wait, you mean like the year and information?
Correct.
No, we don't have that yet.
Right, and this is Kelly Thompson. I don't think Suzanne is on this call, but I did hear her explain that in a previous meeting. The last I heard, she was waiting on the resolutions that approved the appointments for each member. So once we get that and have specific dates, then that will complete the membership roster, and then it'll be able to be posted online.
We've got several terms that are expiring or expired, and I know you stay on unless somebody else is appointed or you're removed. Should we, anybody that's expired or is expired, should we ask our councilman to do a reappointment?
If that's a
Kelly?
question for me, Mr. Chair, yes, that would be appropriate. If the members are wanting to renew their terms, and I would welcome that. But as you said, there's a holdover, so you're staying put either way. But if you'd like to renew your term, then that's absolutely something you can do.
Okay. All right. Anything else? Anybody else? Any other old business? Go to new business. Anybody have any new business?
Mr. Chair,
Well-
this is Kelly Thompson again. Sorry to.
Hello, Kelly.
I wanted to update the ZBA, and I don't know how much this affects you, but just so you're aware of it, the rental property, the rental inspection code, excuse me, that was updated recently. And so my department, along with BSI, we are creating a standard operating procedure, so to speak, for conducting rental inspections. And we're restarting with the rental property registry. So that will go into effect. The rental inspection code has been in limbo for a couple of years now. So we're excited to get that back in action and implemented. So I would expect that to be fully rolled out and implemented early next year. So just working closely with the building inspector and getting our toolbox together in terms of administrative search warrants and things like that. So wanted to make the commission aware of that as well.
Who is that enforced by, Kelly? What area?
So the Building and Safety Inspections Department, that's their domain. So Mike Ryder, our building inspector, he's really the primary enforcement officer for rental inspections. So he's the code enforcement officer, I think is one of his official titles. So then as it progresses, if violations are found and municipal civil infractions are started, then I would actually be the one prosecuting that in district court. And if administrative search warrants are necessary. So there's a requirement for a tri-annual inspection at every rental property. So if Mike, the building inspector, goes out to inspect it and is denied entry by either the tenant or the rental property owner, then he would seek an administrative search warrant through me and through district court. So that would give him the authority to enter the property with a warrant. And then if violations are discovered after that, then it would go through the municipal civil infraction side of things. So official violations would be prosecuted in district court. I hope that answered your question.
Yeah, it does. And it's interesting for us to understand the process. So I appreciate it.
Sure.
Anybody?
Commissioner Telliker, this is Commissioner Key. And I guess I got two questions for Kelly. So Kelly, if you could enlighten me here a little bit. When we see blight concerns in our neighborhoods, are we to report that to the Blight Commission or committee, or who do we report that to? Like, like old cars that's people have sitting in their driveways that don't work.
Right, right. So there's a new administrative hearings bureau that was created, and that's an extension of the legal department. They are the adjudicators for blight violations. And in terms of reporting it initially, and maybe Bill could help me with this, I believe those complaints should go initially to BSI. Is that right, Bill?
There is a zoning violation, you know, a form on the City of Flint's website, but normally, yeah, I believe this go directly to BSI. Some people do fill out a complaint form. I think
What's that
KZ,
acronym?
I think KZ would like to.
Actually, definitely help you with that. Lindsay Crawford is the person who deals with all the blight. So if you want her email, you can send her there, or you can call the blight department.
That's what I've done in the past. It's called blight directly.
Yeah, and then there's also a blight form, which I will send a link to Bill, and so he can send it to all the commissioners.
Okay, that'd be helpful.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's the answer to question number 1. Thank you very much. Now, question number 2, Kelly,
Yes.
is this a for real picture on your spot here with this, like somebody just got married or something?
Yes, that was we got married in October of 2019.
Okay.
And that
Okay,
was
at least-
just outside of the Durant building downtown.
And see, now you're in trouble because now we know what you look like.
One of these days I'll come on by video and shock you all.
Congratulations, it's a nice picture.
She's real. I've
Thank
seen her
you.
in person.
That's it for me.
All right. If with no one else, we'll have a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
I second that.
All right, we got a motion of support. I don't think we'll have any discussion on that. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. We're adjourned. Thank you,
Yeah.
everybody.
See you next
Okay,
year.
thanks.
Thank you,